Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to Smackdown Review. And tonight's Smackdown was from the Angels of the Winds Arena in Everett, Washington. And I gotta say, tonight's Smackdown, I thought it was a decent show. I thought it was much better than Raw last night. But like I said, overall it was a decent show. And let's get started with the review. And SmackDown opened up tonight with Charlotte Flair coming out saying last night Becky Lynch's arrogance got the best of her and that she refused medical attention. And she ended up being up on Stephanie McMahon. And so Charlotte says it was Becky's behavior that got her suspended. And she hopes that Becky is healthy for WrestleMania. And so Charlotte says she knows who is 100% healthy and would love to face Ronda at WrestleMania. And so then we get Becky Lynch was shown. Becky Lynch was on SmackDown tonight, even though they're going on with this suspended storyline. So Becky Lynch is shown. She ends up coming down from the crowd. Charlotte's like, "Oh, security, security. Come. I hope that person walking down the stairs has a ticket." And then we see Becky gets on the mic and she ends up telling Charlotte to stop boring the people to death and that the man is back on SmackDown. And so Charlotte and Becky are bickering. Triple H's music hits. Triple H ends up coming out, and Triple H says to Becky that she is suspended, and that she is not supposed to be here. And Triple H ends up telling Becky to go home, and that if she wants the suspension gone, she should see the doctor. She should go see a doctor. And so, Charlotte's, bickering there. And then Triple H ends up telling Charlotte to leave because it doesn't concern her. This doesn't concern Charlotte. And so Triple H says to Becky, if she wants to go to WrestleMania and face Ronda and have the suspension gone, is for Becky to go see a doctor. And Becky tells Triple H that he doesn't believe in her. And Becky asks Triple H, "Oh, how's Stephanie?" And that if he made sure that she is medically cleared after Becky punched her in the face last night. And so Triple H says he didn't see it till now, and that Becky is not the man and is a self-destructor of failure. He ends up saying to Becky that she is just looking to be a martyr and looking for a way out of this. And Triple H says Becky scratched and clawed her way to an opportunity to go to WrestleMania and face Ronda, and that Becky's looking for a way out. And Triple H says Becky is scared to go to the doctor, and that Becky is scared of what the doctor is going to say to her, whether she could compete at WrestleMania or whether she can't compete at WrestleMania. Obviously, Becky is still going to be competing at WrestleMania. And so Triple H says he doesn't believe Becky is injured and is scared that at WrestleMania, Ronda is going to expose the fraud that Becky is. And Triple H says, at WrestleMania, it will prove that Becky fears Ronda. And then we get Becky Lynch, just like last night. Becky Lynch ends up slapping Triple H, just like she did to Stephanie last night. So it was a rehash of what happened last night, minus Stephanie. So that's all we got. That's what we got. And this whole thing with Becky and Stephanie and Triple H, it kind of reminds me of, as many other fans have explained online, this reminds us of Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon. I could see that in a way. So Becky ended up slapping Triple H, and the security was escorting her out. So that was what happened, but it was a decent opening to SmackDown. Then we had Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev versus Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson tag team match. This match happened because, if you remember last week, Gallows and Anderson ended up saying to Rusev that they didn't like what Rusev and Nakamura did. What Rusev and Nakamura did to R-Truth last week, where they beat it down on R-Truth. Remember, R-Truth won the United States Championship last week from Nakamura. Rusev wanted to challenge R-Truth last week for the United States Championship. R-Truth ended up pinning Rusev, and that led to Nakamura coming out. Nakamura and Rusev ended up being up on R-Truth, and then we had Gallows and Anderson, tell that to Rusev that they didn't like what they did to R-Truth. And so that's what took place tonight with their match. But this match was decent. Back and forth between them. Nakamura and Rusev end up winning the match. Rusev ended up hitting the Macha kick to Karl Anderson to score the win. So overall, it was a decent match. Then we had Mustafa Ali. He was cutting a promo saying that, people kept on saying to him that no one expects him to defeat Randy Orton or survive the Elimination Chamber. And he says, what if he can beat Randy Orton and survive the Elimination Chamber? So it was a little promo from Mustafa Ali, which Mustafa Ali was taking on, was also in the match tonight. He was taking on Randy Orton. So a little promo from Mustafa Ali. And then it went right to Paige, and she was there. She was shown to promote her film, Fighting With My Family, of course, based on her life. Which, like I said, I'm looking forward to that film when it comes out. It comes out next week, February 14th, and then it's going to be released in other theaters on the 22nd, the following week. So I'm definitely going to check it out. Definitely give it a watch. Then we had the Usos end up cutting a promo saying that at Elimination Chamber, they are taking on The Miz and Shane McMahon. And they say that this tag team is different. And they welcome Shane McMahon and The Miz into the Uso Penitentiary. So that was the promo from the Usos. Then we had Randy Orton versus Mustafa Ali. This was a good match, in my opinion. It was a really enjoyable match. You had Randy Orton and Mustafa Ali go back and forth. Really like, of course, I like Mustafa Ali, one of my favorite superstars. You had a point in the match where Randy Orton did a superplex from the top onto Mustafa Ali, which looked really cool. You had Randy Orton slam Mustafa Ali onto the announce table, which that wasn't the only time. The only time that Mustafa Ali got slammed on the announce table tonight, which I'll get to. Later on. And towards the end of the match, we had Mustafa Ali. He was going to the top. He was going to do his, his 054 splash. But Randy Orton ended up getting up, took Mustafa Ali, grabbed Mustafa Ali's leg from the top, and then countered it into an RKO, which looked really cool. Which looked awesome. Pinned Mustafa Ali 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton wins the match. Which it was a good match, in my opinion, overall. Then after the match, Samoa Joe comes. He ends up locking in the Coquina Clutch on Randy Orton. Samoa Joe then kicks Mustafa Ali out of the ring. And then Daniel Bryan ends up coming out. He makes his way out. Joe is walking towards Daniel Bryan. And then Rowan comes out. And then Joe tries to make Rowan flinch. So and that was that. And then SmackDown went to commercial. But like I said, overall, Randy Orton versus Mustafa Ali, it was a good match. It was an enjoyable match, in my opinion. Then when SmackDown came back from the commercial, Samoa Joe was cutting a promo about how physics, work a little different for him. And he's like, it's a little different for him with each action having an equal and overwhelming reaction. And he goes on to say that the ends will justify the means when he raises the WWE Championship in the air. So, decent promo from Samoa Joe. Heading into the Chamber match at Elimination Chamber. Then Daniel Bryan and Rowan were in the ring. Of course, this was in Daniel Bryan's home state of Washington. Daniel Bryan gets on the mic and he says, finally, he gets to talk to people who understand what he is trying to do here. And the crowd was really chanting, was behind him. Daniel Bryan ends up saying the people of Washington are intelligent people and they are smart, and that they realize we need change. He goes on to say, as a champion, he speaks to a global audience, and the people don't understand that their crass, selfish behaviors just destroy their minds, fatten their bodies, and trying to get the dopamine rush to get to the next hump. And he goes on to say that he's fighting an uphill battle, and that's why he created the new WWE Championship. He goes on to say that it's a symbol for people to rally behind. Daniel Bryan says the old title was a symbol of excellence and of access. And the new title is not only a symbol of excellence, but for change. And he ends up saying that the people are threatened by that change. And so Rowan gets on the mic and he says, the way of life of Galileo, he's like, great thinkers are considered dangerous. And Rowan goes on to say they consider Daniel Bryan dangerous because of the WWE Championship. And as long as he holds it, they'll try to silence him. And so Daniel Bryan puts the people in their place, saying that he serves a great power than greed, money, or fame. He ends up saying that he's the planet's champion. And he goes on to say that the suits in the back there don't like it. And that's why he's stuck in the Elimination Chamber defending his title. And he says he's been there before. He's been, in the chamber before, and that only serves to reinforce how dangerous it is. And then we got a video package of, of them, Daniel Bryan breaking the chamber down. He goes on to say, when that closes, Daniel Bryan names his 5 opponents, one by one, and says that they want to take the title backwards and put it back on leather. and he goes to say that the masses need him as WWE champion. And that's how the segment ended. But it was a decent segment from Daniel Bryan. And then we saw Kayla Braxton. She was interviewing Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy was watching what Daniel Bryan had to say. Jeff Hardy says what Daniel Bryan said made him sick. And he goes on to say, no one has disrespected the title like he has, like Daniel Bryan has. And Jeff Hardy says he knows Daniel Bryan isn't interested in a debate, and that he's going out and making him shut up, because Jeff Hardy had a match with Daniel Bryan tonight. And so AJ Styles comes, and Styles says he can't agree more. And he ends up saying Jeff has been around for a long time, and with his recent history, he goes on to say, is he really the guy to represent that legacy? Jeff Hardy says to AJ that AJ can't beat Daniel Bryan, so maybe he's not the guy either. He says, Jeff Hardy says. He goes on to say if he finished the job at the Royal Rumble, they wouldn't be having this conversation, and they'll settle it in the chamber. So decent interview with Jeff Hardy. Sorry about that, but the next match, it was a women's match. It was a triple threat tag team match with the women. It was Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose versus Carmella, Naomi, and the Iconics. Before the match got underway, Kayla Braxton interviews Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose about the match. Sonya says Carmella and Naomi are inexperienced and way over their heads. She also says the Iconics will not laugh their way to victory, because they both are on fire and desire. Mandy Rose says, besides Sasha and Billie, her and Sonya are the only competitors to step inside a chamber. She ends up telling the competitors to step aside. And so Kayla Braxton brings up a question to Mandy, asking her if she is concerned, if Mandy Rose is concerned about adding more fuel to the fire against Naomi. Mandy Rose says Naomi hasn't pinned her yet, so she must be doing something right. So Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville go out, and they make their entrance. And the match gets underway, which the match itself, is a typical women's match with these women in the Elimination Chamber, match for the Women's Tag Team Championships. So for SmackDown, you have Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, the Iconics, and now Naomi and Carmella from SmackDown are going to be in the Elimination Chamber match for the Women's Tag Team Championships, taking on Nia Jax, Tamina, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan, and Bayley and Sasha Banks. But Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose win the match. Mandy Rose ends up pinning the Angel's Wings to Naomi, and that was that. And there are points in the match where Naomi was in and Mandy Rose didn't want anything to do with Naomi, and basically do some moves on Naomi. So she let Sonya Deville and the Iconics handle Naomi at parts in the match. So overall, it was your typical women's match. Now we had Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega cutting the promo. Andrade Cien Almas was talking about, the legend of Rey Mysterio. Zelina Vega says that Rey Mysterio is a folktale, a fable best left to history books. And she goes on to say that Andrade stomped his legend out last week. She ends up saying that the legend of Andrade starts with Rey Mysterio's end. So apparently, still this feud is gonna still gonna go on, which that's good because I'm really enjoying Andrade and Rey Mysterio. I think this feud with them is really enjoyable. So I'm really liking to see the next match between the both of them. Then we had Jeff Hardy versus Daniel Bryan. This was the main event. And this was a good match. This was a good main event. It was very entertaining. Back and forth between Jeff Hardy and Daniel Bryan. Of course, Rowan was out there on the floor. And Jeff Hardy was doing everything to take down Daniel Bryan. The match ended in a disqualification because Rowan ended up tossing Jeff Hardy into the ring steps. Then Daniel Bryan ended up locking in the label lock on Jeff Hardy. Samoa Joe comes out again, throws Rowan into the ring steps, and locks in the Coquina Clutch on Daniel Bryan. Then we had Randy Orton comes out. He and Joe go at it, start throwing punches. Mustafa Ali ends up coming out. Leaps off the top, takes out Samoa Joe and Randy Orton. And we see Rowan ends up catching Mustafa Ali. And I guess Mustafa Ali was going to go after Daniel Bryan, but Rowan comes there, carries Mustafa Ali, slams Mustafa Ali onto the announce table. So that's the second time tonight Mustafa Ali got slammed onto the announce table. And AJ Styles comes out, goes after Randy Orton. AJ Styles hits a Pele kick to Orton. Then we saw Styles hit the phenomenal forearm to Jeff Hardy. And Daniel Bryan and Rowan were scattering. They were watching from the stage. Daniel Bryan had a horrified look on his face. And so Daniel Bryan and Rowan end up going to the back. And the match ended at maybe 9:55. So the match ended 5 minutes before SmackDown went off the air. So they had all this time to do for 5 minutes. So that's why Samoa Joe came out, Mustafa Ali came out, Randy Orton. So, but this is setting up hype for the Chamber match for the WWE Championship. So all six of these guys, in the Chamber match, and it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be. I could tell that the Chamber match between these six guys, it's gonna be awesome. Then we had Daniel Bryan. He was backstage. He was pissed off because the guys out there ruined the match. So he was screaming at Caleb Braxton. And Daniel Bryan ends up saying to Caleb Braxton, sorry about that, but I was saying Daniel Bryan was telling Caleb Braxton, screaming at Caleb Braxton that, saying, he's the best and the greatest. And that's why he is the WWE Champion. He goes on to say that he and Rowan hang out because they are intellectual peers. And he says those guys aren't going to get the title. And that he is going to be the planet's champion forever. And that's how it was. That's how SmackDown ended. So, and then we saw that Randy Orton actually busted Mustafa Ali's eye, because Mustafa Ali was bleeding on the like a little cut on the side of his eye. So that was crazy to see. But yeah, so that was SmackDown tonight. So, but overall, like I said, it was a decent SmackDown tonight. So, but anyways, that's it from my SmackDown review. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Thank you all for watching, and definitely give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and until the next video, I'll see you all later.